Hey everyone, Chris Sawyer here. The Varietal Show is back. This looks a little bit different. You might not see this. This is probably backwards and you're seeing it. But we're here in Italy right now, and I'm here with my great friend Charlie. As you guys will know, his whole bio on the screen there. Charlie is one of my dearest friends, but one of the great things that we do together, Charlie lives in France now. We got to know each other in Miami, but he knows everyone who's anyone. But we're here together because,
We're good tasters.
Yeah, we're good tasters, but Concours Mondial de Bruxelles is the biggest international wine competition in the world. And Charlie, we're here. Tell everyone about where we're at. This area of Italy is so unique. And everyone's like, oh, I love Florence and I love all these places. And yet we're not there. And we're not in Bologna, and we're not in
Toscana or Piemonte or Verona.
We're not in any of those places. We're in the place where real Italian culture kind of started. And actually, we think about California and the things that we do in California. We have agriculture there. This area is super agriculture for Italy.
One of the things great, thank you so much, Chris. This is the place where the origin of wine started. Number one, this is actually south of Rome. We're about 3.5 hours, 4 hours away, from the Roman train station, if you will, because you get 6 hours of driving from there. But we are in the center south, in Calabria, actually between the Tyrrhenian Sea and the Ionic Sea, or Jonic Sea, however, whichever language you speak. When I talk about the history, you got to really go back to 8 centuries ago. 8 centuries ago, because the Greeks were here before. Now, many of you that you are history buffers and you really like the idea of talking about this part of the world, they always say, oh, the Romans. Let me just tell you, the Romans were here only 300 years before Christ. There were another 5 centuries before. The Greeks called this Enotria. Enotria because the Enotrios, the tribes, were here already with seeds, bringing many of the grapes that California grows today.
I know.
Aglianico, right?
Yeah.
Aglianico.
Yep.
I mean, the brothers in Sonoma, they plant these grapes, and Primitivo. By the way, the legends say that there were 2 brothers. One actually came to Puglia, and the other came to Calabria. Now, as you probably know, in Puglia you have Primitivo and you have Negromaro. Those are the big grapes. Right here, let me just tell you, you can actually bump 2 grapes that you can't even pronounce.
I know. Now, I've learned so much about the grapes of this region. But Calabria is so interesting, and I mean, we got to go to the coast on that side. We didn't get to go to the coast on the other side, but we've been doing nothing but having tons of great meals, having some of the best olive oil in the world, drinking some of the most interesting wines of the world,
and also having great patisserie, great actually desserts.
Oh gosh!
And when
hazelnut,
I say this,
hazelnut. Oh,
yeah. When you say this, remember you have to always go back to history. 5 different civilizations crossed by this area: the Arabs, the Greeks, the Byzantines, the Longobards, the Spaniards, the Aragonese, the Aragon, and the Bourbons.
Yep.
Right. So when you think about what happened, which, by the way, just to give you an idea, between the one sea, the Adriatic or the Ionic Sea, and the Tyrrhenian Sea, you have 37 kilometers.
I know.
That's
crazy.
how the expressway gets you.
I know.
Now, the rest is, of course, a big deal, a big mountain. You have a massif. We have the pre-Apennines or the pre-Apennines. And then you go to the south, of course, and you have right across of us, you saw Sicily the other day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we are in Sicily. Now, what are the grapes? Because, we talk about Magliocco,
Yep.
Gagliopo,
Gagliopo.
Mantonicus or Mantonico, which is a grape that I adore because it's a little bit on the oxidized side and it's kind of like a sherry.
I know.
And it can make a great dessert wine.
Yes.
Right? And then you have Zivivo, which, by the way,
That's my favorite grape.
the
that I found.
dry
Zebibo.
Muscat. The dry Muscat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zivivo is called Zivivo because of the Arab called the cluster Zavid.
Yeah.
So that's something that I like. And many of you, when I talk about this, we've been making wine lists all over the world,
Yeah.
and Enotria, for me, was my favorite part because this is Campania together with Puglia and with Calabria. This is where Italy started. We are in the place where
Yeah.
the tribes,
Yep.
about I would say 10 centuries ago,
Yeah.
they start here. And of course, as I said to you, you can come to Calabria and go through a glass of wine and taste civilization in each one of the grapes.
Yeah.
We are in an historical part where it's so difficult to catch up geology.
Yeah.
Geology.
And it's so interesting because we're here, there's two sides that are parts of Mediterranean Sea and the basically it's more like the Adriatic, but it's a smaller part of the Adriatic. That's
On the way to Greece.
Yes,
actually. You
yeah,
are in the
yeah.
you are in the hill.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Inside
yeah,
the hill.
right. That's on the way to Greece. That's true.
Right.
So just because we're not on that side, we're looking more at Sicily this way. And we're at a big place right now. We're having this dinner here tonight. That's why all the staff people are running around crazy right now. And so we're having this big dinner. This is a huge wedding place.
Right. Yeah. No.
called-
We are in a palazzo.
Yeah, it's
today.
a-
We
it's
are
a
in
palace.
palazzo in the valley. And when I say this, you have to remember. I mean, this lovely little towns. You can go easy 10 centuries ago, medieval towns. I mean, I found yesterday, Chris, an Norman, which I forgot. That's another civilization that passed here. The Normans were here first with the Benedictines. When you think about the Benedictines, I mean, if you know Champagne, of course you have to know the Benedictines were a big deal. And then the Cistercians, which of course are other actually current of the great religion. I mean, of course, Catholic at that time. They were beer makers. Benedictines were winemakers.
Yep.
And those are the currents that you can actually find in this part of the world, that it was the beginning of everything. Because like they say, when you think, I mean, I have to say this, I studied with the University of Cosenza,
Yep.
my master class for the other day, when you talk about how the East was coming from Greece, they will actually get across, and then they will go to Napoli, and then they will go to the rest of the Mediterranean. Of course, they conquered the Phoenicians. They went to Corsica. They went to Sardinia. They went to the Balearic Islands. They went all the way to what we know today as a sherry town.
Yeah.
Right, Jerez.
Yes.
Yeah, the Romans were
Bottom
there.
of Spain.
And when I talk about that, I always like to say to my dear friends that they study wine history. No, the Romans were conquerors, but the real winemakers, they started here, and then we have, of course, the Etruscans. But Enotria, if you actually make a good wine list, Enotria always has been the title
Yeah.
of a good wine list from Italy
Yeah.
in any part of the States.
Right.
Because you got to refer Enotria to Campania, you have to refer Enotria to Puglia, you have to refer Enotria to what we call Calabria, and of course, when you do the islands, you always say Enotria and the islands.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, and you probably like the Magliocco, right?
I do.
Or the Gagliocco.
I do.
Now, don't forget, we have a town and we have a little place called Ciro, C-I-R-O.
Yep.
Ciro for you, or Ciro in Italian, Ciro Marittima.
Yep.
That is where we say all the time, is the oldest wine country ever, from 10 centuries ago. Yes, you can tell me Hungary, yes, denomination, of course, you can tell me Porto,
Yep.
denomination of origin, those are really denominations by law. But in history, here in Calabria, you have 10 centuries of Gaglioppo.
Yeah, amazing. And we were tasting those wines last night, and we were in a castle above the city here, which was amazing. It was unbelievable. But we were tasting those fine wines from that district.
The rosé was
The
good.
rosé
The
was
white
great
as well.
Yeah, we had some of the winemakers tasting them with us. We were having a fantastic time.
I really like to. We should invite everybody to come one day. By the way, it's very hot here in summer.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you, you enjoyed pizza the other day.
Oh, I did.
Lovely town, right?
Yeah, pizzo. Pizzo. It sounds like pizza, but it's got an O instead of an A at the end. And I had a fantastic time. There's a really interesting
The
part of
sunset.
history, too, where Napoleon Bonaparte's brother, or his son, is his brother-in-law, right?
Right. Jose Bonaparte.
Yeah. So he got caught, and he was assassinated, or he was killed there. And we went into his basically his prison cell, and we really got to get into his head. And he basically said, "I want to say fire when you're going to kill me. I say fire."
Well, I
You know?
have to say there's an interesting thing about this area because if you say Mediterranean is of course at the open, you have Sicily and then you have north of Africa. Remember, these are areas that they were so rich for invaders.
Yeah.
And the other thing you have, the Bourbon family, actually the Spaniards and Bourbons, they were here for so many centuries. You know, 150 years, just 150 years ago, Italy was not Italy.
Yeah, it wasn't
So,
Italy.
It was unified in 1871, if we have to say something. And of course, we have the Reino de le Due Sicilia, the kingdom of the two Sicilies. They spoke Spanish, they spoke also a little bit of French with Italian, but the South never wanted to be part of the North. And of course, the unification came in 1871 when the North unified the South, and now we call Italy because, of course, the land of Italy starts here in Calabria. We're not Italians, but I think for everybody who wants to have a little bit of briefing of history, here we are.
Yeah, and we're so close to Sicily. I mean, it's just really right down the road, and it's only like a 20-minute
boat ride.
Boat ride.
You have a ferry, and
from
you see
the continent here to the island, and it's crazy.
I don't want to see it today because we have lava coming out of
I
the
know.
Etna. This morning we have lava coming out of the Etna, which is a wonderful thing to do, but you don't want to be around because you know what, we need to take the plane. We need to get out of here before we get the clouds because as you probably remember, when the Etna started actually erupting and sending a lot of lava, sometimes there's no traffic, air traffic around Europe, right? So, my goodness, we're about to start a party.
Yeah,
here,
we're
so.
going to get crazy in a few minutes. But, you know, we're here for another reason, too. We're here to judge the Concours Mondial de Bruxelles. And, you know, this is a great organization. It is the largest competition in the world that moves. And this year, we had over 7,000 wines that we were judging, over 300 judges. This is the first time since we were in Switzerland in 2019 that we were able to have this many people together. And they're from all the different countries of the world.
Almost 45 nationalities this time. 7,000, I think 7,500 different samples.
Yeah.
And that's remarkable when you think about what this competition is able to do in the world. I call this is the most democratic competition because, let me just tell you, you have to have a palate because it's very tricky when you come here. But you are talking to someone that comes from the Czech Republic, or they come from Moldova, or they come from Poland, and they are very savvy tasters and they know what is the wine. I mean, of course, they know where the tannin goes, they know where this wine might be from, and you have to discuss, score, right? Yep. They don't give anything for free here. Let me just tell you that way. We actually enjoy the friendship, the fraternity. There's some faces here that they've been coming for 20 years. Yeah. We are just beginners. I mean, we've been here for 5-7 years. Yeah. But we just began. Yeah.
Well, I will say one thing that Charlie and I finally moved up to Charlie's ranks. I was a president on the table for the first time in my career here at this competition. You know, this is my 5th time at this competition, and I became a president of a table. That means
that's a big deal.
I was the one that was directing, like taking the scores, making sure everything was going right. I was the one that was smelling the glasses.
And then control the table.
Yeah, I know. You got to control the table. Today was kind of weird because I had to be taken away from the table and give my presidency to one of my colleagues who was from Belgium, and it's because I had to go get my COVID test so I could get on the plane tomorrow. So that was interesting. He took over, and then we had one from Sweden who had to leave, so then we were down to 4. But you know what? If you're smart and you can do these things, you can wing it and you will get by. Yeah. And so it was amazing. We had some amazing wines today. I can't wait to tell you more about that. And you'll read it also on my website on SawyerSom.com. You can follow Charlie at Charlie Wines
on Instagram because, you know, I just moved out of Miami. I moved out of Miami about 7 weeks ago. Now, we have a house in Normandy, but of course there's not a place for wine there, but we have a lot of oysters and a lot of Calvados and cider, and very good fish too.
Yeah.
But I have to say, when actually decided that Chris was going to be the chief table guy, I was so proud because this is what we do best, taste wine, and of course when they actually give you the confidence of being a chairman, it's a big deal.
And you know what? I totally love the presidents who were at my table when I was kind of working up the ranks here too. So it's really special, especially Jacques. We see Jacques, he's from Canada, and he's such a great man, and he's a great friend of ours, and he's my Facebook friend. And these are the kinds of it's like a big family here, and it's amazing.
Yes, I heard something last night among the vines that it really got my attention, and I said, you know, that person is not here because he's not a team player. And I say, wow, I couldn't believe that. You know, here, let me just tell you, you can come from Romania, or you probably come from Georgia, Tbilisi, the other part of the world, you come from Lebanon, or you come from Japan. Everybody say hello, everybody say good morning, everybody, you talk to everybody. There's a joy of life here that makes you, you know, part of the team since you get in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you land here and you're in.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, talking about that, we got to go.
Yeah, we got to go. But let me just say this too. Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.
But we just found out today that next year we will be in Croatia. And that's where,
Istria.
so this is going to be a big deal next year. But don't worry, we got plenty of news coming your way. The scores of all the wines that I did, we actually did this in Mexico. If you guys saw that show that I did with Doug Frost, if you want to look it up, watch, you know, the Varietal Show and put in Doug Frost, and you can watch the show that we did.
Maestro Doug Frost.
He is so good.
He's my maestro.
Yeah.
My maestro.
We did that in Mexico, and it's the first time ever that we actually recorded our notes into the score sheet.
And you guys did that
we did it in Mexico. We were the prototype of it, and now today, in the past few days, 300 people were doing that. So my notes will be, they're already transcribed. They're already there for me to share with you guys. So look for those very soon. Concours Mondial de Bruxelles, and look up the website too, because we feel very strong about this organization. We're very lucky to be a part of it, but we do it for you guys to broadcast some of the great things about the world of wines, not just California where I live. I mean, hey, I'm a lucky bum that I grew up in America and in California. But what we learn here is really important for you guys to learn too. And this area of Italy, how lucky were we to be here?
I have to say something, and we're going to say that in English to everybody. You know, you can be a great sommelier in the world. You can be a great server, a great wine steward. But I think behind your palate, you have to be able also to think one day, I want to be a wine expert and guess and talk to everybody, you know, with confidence that you can actually carry on a conversation with winemakers. There's many winemakers here, people that they actually been doing this for almost 30 years. There's a lot of people from Bordeaux. There's a lot of Burgundy. I find out today that the director of Chateauneuf du Pape is here with us. He was yesterday director of Champagne as well, the president. And let me tell you, that's the level of people you talk. I mean, and that is the wonderful thing. Chris and I, we've been serving wine in America for a long, long time. We've been in hotels, we go in fancy restaurants, in fancy cruise lines myself. And I have to say, when I come here, no matter which layer of the industry you belong, you're like everybody because you have a palate and you have to defend your wine the best kind you want, because it's not easy, but it's not difficult. You can do it. And let me just tell you, I'm so happy to be part of your TV, to your program today, because we need to go and party a bit.
We got to go party.
We work a lot.
So once again, don't forget, Concours Mondial de Bruxelles, and thanks once again for tuning in to the Varietal Show. We'll see you again next week. Cheers!